Kia ora, good evening. A show of unity from the coalition government as it defends itself against accusations of troubled waters. 11 months since the government was formed, the Prime Minister today laid out her vision for the coming years, but there were no new policies. Katie Bradford was there.
A show of harmony and friendship from an unlikely trio.
This is not dysfunction junction.
Over the past month, the government has been struggling with troublesome ministers and accusations of cracks in the coalition. So today, an attempt to display unity, kicked off by the Deputy Prime Minister.
We are a unified government.
And then, in a speech reminiscent of a TED Talk, it was the Prime Minister's time to shine, and she was quick to tackle the issue of disharmony.
Perhaps it's because we've never had a government quite like ours before. We cause a little bit of chat.
Jacinda Ardern says the coalition partners have agreed to a shared vision and a list of priorities.
And people may well say that this is just an expression of good intentions. Where are the specifics? I think this is the bit where I meant to say, hold my beer. Or perhaps slightly more realistically these days, hold my lukewarm cup of tea.
Those themes are building the economy, well-being for all, and leadership.
All it was a photo op and a rah-rah speech, a complete reheat of what they've been saying for the last wee while, with nothing new in it at all.
The refugee quota, labour law changes, 3 strikes law, all areas there's been tension between Labour and New Zealand First. But the message today was that's just part of coalition government.
We are a true MMP government.
So, on doubling the refugee quota, right now, where do all 3 of you stand on that?
We will be announcing the government's position on the refugee quota once it's finalised and gone to Cabinet.
If you look at what the Green Party has said, what New Zealand First has said, and above all what Labour has said, you will see we are basically on the same page. It's a matter of timing.
National League's Jacinda Ardern has no power over Winston Peters.
Will she be able to actually get him to sign up to things that this government does? He's the real boss.
So, is the tail wagging the dog?
I'm not a tail. None of us is a tail. We don't just demean people with that sort of expression.
And as for the third party in this coalition, well, no speech time for the Greens co-leader, but he says he's happy, even if he needed reminding about unity.
For the last 20 years, there's been this great fear that the Green Party was going to be this kind of, crazy, unstable...
And the sixth one, yes. Unity.
Yeah, right. So I think that we've actually demonstrated comprehensively that we're a very good government partner.
So all smiles today, but for how long?
And Katie Bradford is with me now. Katie, was there anything of substance in all this today?
Well, it was never billed as a big policy event. It was about saying, look, the 100-day plan is over. Where to from here? Where's the government going? They say they've been working on this plan for this 12-point vision since February. It wasn't because of recent talk of disharmony within the government. But no new policies there today, all about the long-term future.
So is there any legislation coming up which could really test the unity of the coalition?
Look, that issue of whether they're going to double the refugee quota, Winston Peters has spoken publicly saying he's not such a big fan of that. The Greens want it a lot higher than Labour. That decision has to be made soon on that area. There's the labour law changes. There's a number of big issues that will be coming up over the next little while that are really going to test this government.
Katie Bradford, thank you. Unions are urging Labour to resist making any late changes to its flagship employment law reform at the request of its coalition partner. New Zealand First this week said the employment legislation already making its way through Parliament is, quote, a work in progress. And that's prompted speculation it'll seek to water down aspects of the reforms. Here's Q&A's Corin Dan.
It's no secret unions are counting on Labour to bolster the wage bargaining power of Kiwi workers.
The Prime Minister understands well that these are very important issues for working people.
But while employment reforms aimed at doing that have been through Cabinet, coalition partner New Zealand First sprung a surprise this week by signalling it may seek late changes to the legislation.
It's a work in progress, yes. Will that work in progress result in the bill being passed in Parliament? Yes.
We're always having conversations about all matters of policy in my portfolios.
We are concerned about that because we thought the government had made a decision, a cabinet decision on this.
What New Zealand First seems to be worried about is stronger collective bargaining provisions for multi-employer pay agreements known as MECAs. In particular, whether these take into account differences in regional pay.
A large Auckland employer dominating that discussion and dominating those pay rates, it would be hard for some of those smaller businesses in regions to be competitive.
Provincial employers, they've been concerned. I've expressed those concerns.
You can negotiate whatever you like into a MECA, including different rates for different regions.
Business lobby groups, however, say the collective bargaining reforms in the bill go too far, and they welcome New Zealand First's stance.
I'm sure they're getting the message from businesses all over the country that some of these provisions are going to hurt them, and if they can do anything about it, I think business would be grateful.
New Zealand First really needs to remember the people who put them in power, and it's not just the votes of big business, it's the votes of freezing workers, it's the votes of working people.
So employment reform going to the wire at Parliament. Expect more twists and turns to come. Corin Dan, One News.